Hello. I wanted to kind of work with you a little bit on some of these questions from chapter 9. Kind of go over the chapter with you just a little bit so that you have a little understanding of what's going on. So, in the chapter, we are discussing elevations. So, if we look at a side view versus the overhead view, we have different lines in here that represent different things. We have the natural grade. That's what NG stands for, natural grade. So we have the dotted line in here representing a natural grade. And then we have the finished grade, which is the dark line. So if we go over to our plan and look at that as well, then we can see that we have an existing or the natural grade, the natural fall of the land that's going up through our property here, but then we're changing it, so we're having this dark line come in there, and we're pulling this out per se, so that we can make a more level place for our home. So when we're looking at this right here, if we cut a line right through here, we could kind of get an idea of what that's going to look like in this. So we have the natural grade that's going in here, and then we're going to cut this off, and we're going to fill in this spot so that we end up with a more smoother grade that's going to go across our property. So let's go back to here, and you can see that we have some places that is natural. Well, this should be a dotted line. This is a typo again. So this should be a dotted line through here, and then we're going to pull this up. So we're going to cut this and pull it up, and we're going to cut this line, and we're going to pull it up to here. We're going to, at this point, we're going to feel here. We're going to take all of this that we cut, and we're going to start pushing it over the edge here so that we lengthen this out and make a nice little terrace and a level place here for our house. So one of the questions is talking about interpoling. And interpoling is really, really simple if you think about it. So you'll notice that on your test, it's asking you, where's this maple tree? Well, where's this maple tree? Where's this pine tree? So we have trees that's going to stay there, and we have trees that are going to go away, and they're shown in a dotted line. So, for instance, let's go back over here and look, and this is out of page 63 of the book. And we have a tree here that is between two topography lines, two topo lines, as it's sometimes called. Well, I want to know the elevation of that tree. So it is between 50 and 48. Well, is it 49? Well, if I go somewhere right in there in between, that's a terrible line. Let's try that again. If I just draw me a line somewhere in between these two, you'll find that if this was 49 here, boy, I'm not so good at this. Let's try that again. 49. I'm using my mouse here, sorry. All right, we also find out that it's below 49. So if we cut it again in half, golly, folks, I tell you, and I ain't even started drinking yet. All right, so we cut that in half, and we have 49 feet, 6 inches. I'm sorry, 48 feet, 6 inches, 49 feet, 6 inches. And we're going to cut this one more time. We're going to cut it right in here. And we're going to go ahead and cut this in here. So when we're talking about topography lines, we don't really say 48.3, 48.6, 48.9, 49. We don't really do that. We call them points. So right here would be 48.24. Or excuse me, 25. Okay, so this is 25% of the grade. This is 0.5 or 50% of the grade, and this would be 0.75. So if we needed to know the exact moment of this tree or the exact elevation of this tree, we could safely say that it is 49, excuse me, I keep saying 49, 48.75, and that would be the elevation for that. So I'm not asking you to get that quite that technical when we're looking in here. If I ask you for this 16-inch maple here, it's not 326, and it's not 328. It is somewhere in the middle there, and we'll call that 327. This 12-inch maple here, it could be more like 332.5. Okay, because if we look at this and we try to, give me just a second here. If we, I'm not so sure that I can do this. I've never tried to do it in here. If we go in here and mark this right in half here, boom. And then we do it again. Well, not there. And we do it again. And it's not going to let me. Stop it. All right. So we're somewhere in the middle. So instead of 0.5, it could be 0.3. All right. Depending on how we look at it. Yeah, how do I get that to go away? There, that's how we get it to go away. So when we go back and look at this, then we can kind of figure out, use our best guess to say, well, right here is going to be 333, right through here. Can I use the highlighter? No, I can't use the highlighter. I can't draw on this one at all. Tell you what I can do, though. I can print screen. Not like that, I won't. Forgive me, I'm learning this stuff all over again. It's been a while since I've done this. All right, so I can print screen, bam. And I can go over to Paint and open it up, shrink it down to where it is usable, and then I can draw on here. So here is 333. And then I'd say that this is pretty close, that I could call that at 332.5. So that's fairly close there. I hope that helps on the interpoling. So let's look at something else here. Another question asks, what is the elevation, what is the new or the finished elevation in front of the garage? Well, if we go back and look at our garage, too far, this is our garage right here. So if we go back over to our site plan, we see that here's our garage. And the land, the finished grade that's going to be right here is going to be 342, and that is 342 running right through there. And this is 344. So somewhere in the middle here is going to be 343, is it not? Right through there. And what is the elevation of this garage? 343. So are we going to cut or are we going to fill there? We're not going to do either. We're not going to change it at all. So that's kind of a trick question there a little bit, but think it through before you answer and just kind of get a hold of what's going on, and remember that, you know, these dotted lines are our natural grade, meaning that's what it was there when we got there, and this is what we changed it to. So we moved that a little bit. Some of you are struggling around with the property lines. What is the length of a particular property line? So let's go back to our 2-unit apartment and look at a simplified property line. So we have a property line here that is 100 and, why does this not work? Oh well. 120 feet. All right, that's going from this point to this point. On this side here, we have 110 feet going from here to there. Well, this is a square. That's no problem. It's kind of a gimme. But let's go back and look at our lake house. So on our lake house, we have two numbers here, and we kind of talked about that last Wednesday. Here is the bearing. It is moving from, it's going to the northwest. So if we look at our little thing here, we got a quadrant north, east, and I said northwest. Northeast is what I meant. So we are going in this direction. So if we're going at 96 degrees, if this is 0, remember that your primary directions are at 0 and your secondary directions are at 90. So this is 0, this is 90, we're almost there. So wouldn't it be C? So this is going at less than 90 degrees, so somewhere around C. We look at our side elevations, we have northwest, meaning that it's going into this quadrant. So if we start here, we're going into this quadrant, going in this direction. Over here we have southeast, meaning that it is going from here, southeast, into this quadrant. And then the bottom one doesn't give us something. It talks about this here. IP set to 5.53 feet to HWM. HWM stands for high water mark. So when the lake is at its fullest, and that is basically saying when it is up to the spillway, that is the high water mark. So we have set this pin basically 5.5 feet in from the high water mark. And IP, you see it here, IP stands for iron pin. And that is a marker is for a surveyor so that they can survey this out. So we have 2 pins here and we have 2 iron pins here. Now, how long are these? Well, let's go back up here to the top. So we're looking at north, 86 degrees, 05 minutes east, and it's 100 feet crawl through there because it tells me right there. If I look at my side pieces, you'll see that it says 261.3, where to? From this pin right here to the high water mark. All right, even though we have a pin here that's 5.53 feet in from the high water mark, this whole distance from the high water mark to this pin is 261.3 to the high water mark. Same over here, 245 to the high water mark. Hope that helps and clears that up a little bit for you. Again, if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Do not email me. And I want to show you something. Don't do this because I don't see them. I don't ever see them until they're already done. You have a way to send me these messages, and all these folks have sent me these messages, and I didn't even know that I had all these messages. So don't email me and don't send me these messages here. Pick up your phone and text me, and I can get back to you far much faster than I can in any other way. Let me just scan through this right quick and see if there may be any other questions right offhand. A couple of people have taken the quiz for Chapter 9 and have made 100 on it. So I know that you guys can get this. You absolutely can get this. I think I have pretty much covered most of it. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to text me. Even when I'm in a meeting or a workshop or something, I can generally get back to you fairly quickly. So don't hesitate to ask me, but just make sure you don't send me an email because I'm not going to be around the computer. I'm going to have my phone with me, but I won't have my computer with me. And I can look at a few things on the computer. So again, try your best at this quiz, and I will try to do some more videos for the rest of these quizzes. Thanks, guys. Have a good evening.